In terms of a poem, it's actually very interesting if you analyse the verse. It works on a mixture of actual rhyme
Right.
and assonance, that is, rhyming vowels but not rhyming entire words. So, for example, when it rhymes away and yesterday, those are proper rhymes, perfect rhymes we might call them, whereas leap and seek
Right.
do not rhyme completely, separate last consonant, but they have that assonance which allows you to make that connection at the end of the lines. And songs quite often make use of assonance, words that sound almost the same but don't quite rhyme, as a way of allowing them to be more expressive, not having to force the words into a line of music, but still tying that particular bit of the song together.
Right. The sounds.
The actual
Yes.
sounds of the words, yes.
Right.
I think we don't realise when we're listening to songs how much the actual, just the vowels and the consonants and the ways in which those are connected create lines which flow.
Right.
And we hear when people don't get it quite right. I think you can hear when a song's been badly written.
Right. Yes, when it's dissonant.
Yes.
That sort of sound structure.
Yes, or the words sound really awkward because they've been pushed around artificially.
Right.
The gift of writing a good line in a song is to make it sound natural,
Yeah.
but also to make it fit the music.
Right.
So you've got that double balance.
Right.
Lyrics also have to create effect that can be heard quickly. When most people encounter poetry, they encounter it on the page and they read it slowly, and there's time to enjoy the word play and see all the effects.
Right.
But when you hear something, you have to be able to hear that effect instantly, and you haven't got time to process, oh, that just worked like this.
Yeah.
But your brain is doing that processing for you and telling you, oh, that was nice, even though you haven't got time to think that. And that's a really important aspect of lyrics.
That's very interesting, because I don't think anybody really ever thinks about that. You're right. We hear it, and we hear when it's not right and when it's forced, but we don't actually ever consciously think that it's well written, ever, do we?
Very, very rarely, I think. But it does make all the difference. In this song, in addition to the way that it's held together with sets of rhyme between the verses, you've got some of the same rhyme sounds coming back in the second verse as you got in the first verse. You've got this assonance, this rhyming of vowel sounds, which holds the whole thing together. But you've also got this direct address, in that the whole song is the singer speaking to you.
Right.
And that is one of the most powerful things that a song does. This second person address, it's second person singular to you, a single person. It's quite common in songs. Not so common in poems. Not to say it doesn't happen. I think instantly of Shakespeare, shall I compare thee to a summer day?
Oh, right. Yes, yeah.
But more frequently, poetry will be first person, it will talk about I,
Right.
or it will be third person, it will just be describing things without having a kind of direct connection. Songs very frequently address you.
So that's another aspect of making it very direct. I
Very
would imagine.
direct. It's performative, I think. It's part of the kind of acting of a song.
Yeah.
That a singer sort of steps into the role of the song to perform it.
Right.
And
yes.
you as a person are at the other end receiving the song
Right.
and being addressed by it. It works, of course, brilliantly for love songs,
Yes.
and that's what allows people to appropriate love songs.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a particular love song that means something to you,
Yeah.
you will play it to the person you love. Or you find a song about friends and you might play it to your friends and say, this is how I feel about you all.
Yeah.
Because of that kind of second person address,
Right. That
a
makes
song
sense.
allows you to do it. It allows you both to be addressed by it and to appropriate it for your own use.
Right.
And that's something that's very specific about, performed music,
Hmm.
which you can't get on the page. In this song, I think it causes an awful lot of the power of the song, because it allows the singer to take this position of reassurance and kind of greater knowledge, and to speak that very specifically to anybody who's listening to the song. You will be all right. You are not alone.
Yes.
It's a very specific thing. It's actually written into the song here as well, and this is something particular about this lyric in the chorus. Want to scream out, and then it tells you what he wants to scream out, no more hiding. And then, gonna tell you, and it tells you what he's going to tell you, you'll be all right.
Right, yes.
And then the third time it happens in the chorus, just remember, what have you got to just remember? You are not alone.
So it's kind of an enforcing message.
Absolutely. It's saying, I have things to say to you, and this is what they are, and remember them. So it's a very direct appropriation of what this lyric form allows you to do. It's a direct speaking of the singer to the audience. And I think this is one of the reasons why it's touched people so much.
Yes.
That they feel as if Adam is speaking or singing this song, these words to them, that they're being personally reassured. I think that kind of extra reassurance that comes with a particular singer is part of the singer's gift to the song as well, that they are able to bring a persona.
Yes.
That the people who hear the song then also read in and out of the song, you know.
And believe.
And believe, yes. And because this song chimes in very much with Adam's message as a whole,
yes,
they are able to hear what else they know about his philosophy and also read it out of this song.
Yes, because he's a very positive person, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And talks about people taking ownership of themselves and, you know, going out there and doing what they were meant to do on this earth in this lifetime, doesn't he?
Yes.
And so the song, I guess, is part of that.
I think the song's a very powerful expression of that, yes. All the more so because it's not one of those songs that say life is wonderful and great and everything's fantastic.
Yes.
It's a song that says you may be in the middle of a big mess.
Right, which many of us are, let's face it.
More frequently than we would like. And you may feel you've made mistakes. And you may feel that you have created this place in the shadow of all your mistakes that you can't escape from. But actually, despite that, despite whatever has gone wrong, despite these difficult situations that you may be in, despite what he says, the weight of lies and contradictions that you live with, you can change things. You are not stuck where you are. Yes. And it's possible to change things. That, I think, is an extremely powerful message.
Yes, and that's what's coming through as people have been writing about it and talking about it. Somebody sent me a letter somebody wrote the other day about the fact that the lyrics of this song in particular helped them to come out, because this guy was a professional sports person and very worried about the fact that he was gay and felt increasingly dissatisfied with his life because he was living a lie, basically. And this was the song that helped him to decide that, no, hang on, I want to be who I really am. And he took it slowly, step by step, and he's come out and people have supported him. And, you know, he's crediting it to this song.
Well, one of the things that this song does is provide a community of people who understand and who care. That the refrain that you are not alone.
Yeah.
You can come through this trauma, this catastrophe that you feel that you're in.
Yes.
And on the other side, there is a community of people waiting to support you. The idea of the aftermath, I wanted to talk about for a second, because aftermath is, of course, what we think of as happening after some huge event.
Yes.
In the aftermath of the earthquake, the tsunami, the fire, some enormous disaster. And I think, therefore, the sets of images that we associate with an aftermath are sort of, you know, death and destruction and everything having fallen apart and that kind of awful feeling that everything has been destroyed. What the song does is pick that up and put it round the other way and say, actually, the aftermath, the thing that happens after this, what you feel is a catastrophe of enormous proportions, the aftermath is the good bit.
Yeah.
Because that's when you're going to have come through the other side into this space where you will be all right, and where there will be other people to help you, and where you won't be alone.
And where you can affect change.
Where you can affect change, and where you've already in a way begun to do that by coming through the other side. Yeah. However difficult, whatever the catastrophe is, and I've seen people talk about this song in terms of of terrible illness,
right.
or in terms of their sexuality, or in terms of just their personal images of themselves, right. and struggling with that. Whatever it is, it gives you the idea that you can come to this sort of crunch point, but what comes after that is actually something that's good instead of something that's disastrous. Right. And that's the constructive bit where you can actually build. Aftermath is fascinating because it's the one line in the song which doesn't rhyme with anything else, doesn't sound like anything else. In the aftermath is just a line that sits there and gets repeated. So it's a really powerful line in the song. It stands out from all the others, and it doesn't get immersed into the general message. So the themes that are caught up in that, I think, are central to it. The other thing to say a little bit about, I think, is the image of the writer in the second verse, the playwright perhaps. It's not too late. Think of what could be if you rewrite the role you play. So it acknowledges that in a way everybody is playing a role, that we all have certain roles that we play in life, and to an extent we all act ourselves out and we all fictionalise our experiences when we write about them. But it says that's not something to worry about, that's not a negative thing. That is a sign that you can take control and that you can write yourself differently, that you can create a person that you want to be, that you can actually take steps towards becoming that. And within a song for a writer to write about writing a role, I mean, it's getting very kind of meta-poetical, meta-musical, something
it's
like
very
that.
Positive. It's a very positive message.
Absolutely.
Because, like you said, sometimes people think they're stuck. And so the feeling that you can rewrite yourself out of the stuckness, if there's such a word, if you know what I mean, that's fantastic.
Yes.
And because, as you said earlier, Adam is very strong in how he says these words or how he sings these words, people believe him. So they believe that is possible for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a kind of redemptive nature in that as well, that in what you do now, you can kind of redeem the past, that the things that perhaps didn't go the way you would have liked them to go in the past, you can make good in a way by rewriting your life around those things, which I think, again, in terms of the singer making the song more meaningful, works very much for him. You know, he's used the kind of ugly duckling storyline to explain his life, although I don't think he was ever actually really particularly ugly.
No, I think
particular duckling. But he's used that, I used to be a bit bigger than I should have been. I used to be uncomfortable in myself. I didn't know quite what to do with myself. I didn't fit easily into the narrative of people and sexuality and life that I discovered in high school, and I had to find my way through that. Yeah,
and it's something we can all, on some level, relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think when you've got a singer as well whose appearance has changed quite radically, a message of change is particularly strong. Yes. When someone like Adam says, you can decide who you want to be. Yes. And then you look at his super blonde high school pictures. Yes. And you look at his current pictures. Yeah. With his extraordinarily expressive dark look. The difference between those is a very strong message that sits under your consciousness when you listen to this song and says, yes, absolutely. You can make huge changes in the way people see you and in the way that you understand yourself.
That's right, and I think that's what's important, the fact that we have a certain image of ourselves and that you can change that image of yourself if it doesn't fit anymore.